You take a video of you eating it first.
I'll show you how it works.
This is a very lively octopus.
Oh yeah.
Not as lively as it was, but let's go.
Oh, still moving?
Yeah. Still nice and... So it's stuck to the plate, just so you know. It's kind of hard to get off from... So, that, dip it in here. And then just eat it. Nice.
Maybe.
Yeah, you can use spoon.
So you actually have two.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
How is it?
Great.
So that's this for here as well.
Talk about fresh.
Yeah, it doesn't get fresher than this. It's very, very chewy.
I'm still chewing. Well, I figure I killed it enough to swallow.
건배.
Yeah, 근데
건배.
How do you spell it?
G-U-N-B-A-E.
So the G is a little bit like have an H in it.
Yeah, kind of an H.
And what about the J? Does the J have an H?
Get your phone, let me take a photo of you.
Okay. I like fishing boats.
Yeah. 너 통영에 있냐 이제? 그러냐? 이제 부산 안 있고. 그치. 그리고 재물은 아직도 있나? 재물은 서울 갔고. 그렇구나. 어쨌든 이제 우리가 이제 잠시 이따 가는데, 너 이제 꼭 봐야 되는데. 그래? 우리가 이제 막바로 이제 대구로 가야 되거든? 왜냐면 이제 또 대구에 또 다른 데 갈 때 또 있어. 아침 일찍이부터. 그래 이제 들리기는 좀 힘들 것 같아. 그래도 이제 뭐 다음번에 올 때 내가 꼭 들릴게.
Come by. Come by?
건배.
Come
그래
back.
하여튼
야.
너무 이제 고맙고.
건배 Japanese. 건배
아,
Korean.
건배.
야.
그래. 바이바이.
These are like omelets.
Yeah. Right on. Yes.
I'm gonna go up to Vermont, man.
Yeah.
I love it up there. That's most of the reason I moved there, because I like Vermont.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And just didn't want to be quite that far up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even going up, you've been up to the DAR Park?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Hello, my name is Bruce McInnes. I'm an American and a friend of Dr. Shin and his son and daughter-in-law. And it's really a pleasure to speak to the students of MUN I know that you're interested in, by being in MUN, you're interested in international affairs and in learning foreign languages and improving your English. And I think it's a great way to do that and to learn about international affairs. It's wonderful to do it at a young age. I love to travel, and I know many of you are looking forward to going to New York to visit the UN. And one thing we learn when we travel or when we study diplomacy is that all the countries are different, but people are alike in so many ways. So problems that you have in Korea, people have in many other countries too. And one problem that's interesting, I understand, in Korea is the tension and the political issue of how the younger generations take care of the older generations, as we have more and more old people in Korea and fewer young people to pay the costs of taking care of the old. This is a problem many countries have, and it may be a little more serious, a little more severe in Korea than it is in the United States. But we all have this problem, and we all have to face the problem. And so let's just step back and think of how things were 150 years ago or 200 years ago in all the countries of the world. Before we had governments that would step in to take care of the old people and the poor people and the sick and people who couldn't take care of themselves, families took care of each other. And in many societies, in most societies, people would have many children because the adults could take care of the kids. And of course, when we're children, we need our moms and dads or our uncles and aunts to take care of us, because it takes us until we're 18 or 20 years old to be able to really fend for ourselves. And similarly, when we get to be 65, 70, 80 years old, our families need to help take care of us because we weaken, our health is not as good, and so the parents' generation, the middle generation, always has this responsibility that it feels very seriously about. When we have when one has a new baby, it's instinct. We realize we need to take care of the babies, we need to take care of the kids, and when our parents get really old, we need to take care of our parents. So, again, before governments would step in many countries, people would have as many children as possible, because the more children you have, the easier it is for your children to take care of you when you're old. It's much easier for 4 or 5 children to take care of an elderly parent than it is for 1 or 2 children. So here's the problem. In Korea, at the time of the end of the Korean War, the average Korean lady would have roughly 6 children. And now, when medicine has improved and women have the chance to work and have careers, it isn't possible to have 6 children. It's very expensive to have many children. So the average Korean woman now has 1.4 children. So there are few children. There will be fewer adults when those children grow up to look after and help the older generation. So that's the fundamental problem when we look at the high cost of taking care of the older generation. But it's true. We have that same problem in Japan. We have the problem in the United States. They have the problem in Russia. But I think we have to realize that it's very important that, and it's very good that the government has decided in all of these developed countries like Korea and the United States years ago that that we ought to take care of the elderly people. If we leave it just to individual families, some families just don't have enough money and don't have enough success to take care of the older people. Some families lose. Some families lose a family member, like let's say a woman is 60 years old and her only son dies. Does that mean that she doesn't have enough food? So as a society, democracies decided we need to step in and take care of each other as a country, as if everyone was a member of the same family. That keeps many old people out of poverty, and it's the right thing to do. It was the right ethical choice. So what do we do when we have this problem that taking care of the old people is very expensive, and we don't have enough young people? Well, there are many things we can do. First, it probably makes sense for the old people to contribute something by extending the retirement age from 65 to 70, so that they are able to work longer and before they receive benefits. That would cut the costs that are passed on to the younger people. I think we need to realize that we will have to pay more taxes to pay for the benefits of the elderly. In the United States, we have very, very large costs coming that will, as the generation of which I'm a member becomes older, so costs will go up. If we don't have enough young people to pay the bill, I think we need to, each country, Korea and the United States, can really benefit from allowing people to immigrate to work in our economies, because people from Mexico, in the case of the United States, or China, in the case of your country or mine, or Sri Lanka, or wherever, they're able to contribute to economic growth and to pay taxes and offset the loss of workers that we have as birth rates have declined. So this is a problem that we're facing in the modern world as families have decided to have fewer children in modern times. But it's something that we can solve working together, and each country can learn from the solutions that others have found.
Hi, Bruce, would you tell me something about your childhood life? And also this morning you mentioned about your first entrepreneurship you practiced as a seller by selling the encyclopedia. And I'd like you to give some advice to the members of PCLMUN for their own future life in this regard.
Yeah. So
Why you did it, and what's the beauty of the practicing entrepreneurship from childhood?
well, Dr. Shin tells me that you children are ambitious and very promising, hardworking kids, and I'm sure it sounds like he really loves working with you. So one of the things we find in life, you get a lot of advice, and some of it's good. So it's worth sharing some ideas on what works for becoming successful as an entrepreneur. I would say that as a child, I was rather an ordinary child, not a very good student when I was 9 and 10. I only started to become a good student when I was 12. Something happened. I started to really enjoy the schoolwork and really enjoy my teachers. And so, you know, even if you're not doing that well in school, if you just keep working hard, probably you'll figure it out and you'll be able to be successful in academics. Eventually, I was lucky. I got to go to some very prestigious universities in the United States, Stanford University and Harvard University. So the most important thing is persistence. If you have a hard time with your studies, just keep trying and you'll get there. Look for help from teachers, look for help from older brothers and sisters and friends. And if you keep working hard and keep trying and never give up, you can do just about anything. Also, I think when Dr. Shin talks about entrepreneurship, one of the most important things in entrepreneurship is the willingness to take risks. You know, life can be scary, and a lot of us are very scared. How can we be as successful as our parents want us to be? Which is sometimes very successful, and we worry, gee, maybe I won't be that successful. But the most important thing to avoid in life is fear. Fear is your enemy. You can't be afraid. You just have to go for it and smile and be willing to make mistakes. We all make mistakes. We learn from mistakes. So instead of just being scared and sort of frozen, you take a risk. So, for example, it's a really good job you can do early in your career is selling. When you sell something, you have to, we say, put yourself out there. You have to take risks. You have to get out of your shell and understand the person to whom you're trying to sell something. Understand what he needs. Think of how you can be helpful, and not worry about making a mistake or saying something that's wrong or looking stupid. You need to take risk and enjoy it, because life is full of risk, and you might as well embrace risk. Your biggest enemy is fear. You have to overcome your fear, and you need to relax and enjoy what you're learning. Understand what you really enjoy and go for what you enjoy with great enthusiasm. So fearlessness and enthusiasm and hard work are the key to success and to having a good time while you're doing it.
When you were selling the books, encyclopedia, how old you were?
Oh, then I was 18 to 21. I wasn't young, but it was still a great job because I was a young college student. But as a young college student, you're in your own little world, and to understand others in the world, you need to deal with completely different kinds of people. So if you have a hard job like selling from door to door, I mean, like for the Girl Scouts, when they're selling Girl Scout cookies, they're selling to all kinds of different people. It's a way to learn how to understand different kinds of people and learn what you can do for them and learn how you can be valuable in society. So it's very it's very comforting. It makes you feel very good when you realize that you independently can help all these different kinds of people. You may be young, you may be little, but if you are able to sell something to someone else, it gives you this feeling that you can be independent, that you can be successful, and confidence, a little confidence, will build on itself and make you more confident. So,
how was the response? How they reacted to your efforts to sell books to them? Some annoyed?
All the time, you know, you would knock on a door with no introduction and try to sell the books to people, and some people would treat you very badly, and others would treat you well. But what you learn is persistence, and sometimes the most difficult moments teach you so much. They teach you that if you just keep trying, you'll succeed. That happened so many times in my career, so many times when I was going through helping to run companies that were in very difficult situations. I realized from prior experience that it's very dark now, but things will work out, and they did.
The children of PCL MUN, they have ambitions. They have a dream to go to prestigious universities. The one you went to, like Stanford University or Harvard University.
Right.
What advice do you have for them to prepare for their future in this regard?
Yeah. Well, I guess one of the most important things is to know yourself. We're all different. And if you think hard about what you enjoy the most in life, and you think about this from time to time, you'll understand, you'll get a much better feel of what you should do. Because if you do what you enjoy, you're going to be very successful. So it's a combination of not being scared, persisting and working really hard, and stepping back and thinking, who am I? I'm different from this other kid, you know? And this other kid is, you know, he's a good runner, but I like Korean poetry, or I like fixing political problems, or I like persuading people. If you step back and understand who you are, and realize you're going to be somebody completely different probably from your parents, and respect yourself and relax, but then work hard, you can be very successful. Also for leadership, enthusiasm is very important, and a positive attitude and a creative attitude is good. So it's not just working hard. In America we say thinking outside the box, thinking creatively about how to solve a problem, or thinking creatively about what people want that's not currently available on the market. This is what a successful entrepreneur does. He discovers what people want to buy and what people want to make their lives more interesting before the people know. You know, this is why Apple Computer has been so successful. Steve Jobs understood what a powerful product the iPhone could be, and he didn't invent it, but he brought it to so many people and presented it properly, and sold it well. So there are a lot of keys to success, and the keys to my success might be completely different from yours. But we need to relax, know ourselves, really know what we enjoy, be enthusiastic, work hard, and not be scared.
If I wrong, please correct me. When you were in a high school or something, you ran for class president's office.
Student body president. Yeah.
Student body. Then Bill Gates, he voted for you?
Yeah, well, I think he voted for me. He never told me he voted for me. But yeah, I was running for student body president, and I lost by a few votes. But yeah, I think Bill Gates and Paul Allen voted for me, but who knows? I didn't ask
He's
him.
a junior to you.
Yeah.
Then
Bill was 3 years younger in my school in Seattle, and Paul Allen was 2 years younger.
So would you enumerate some of the companies you worked for as a successful CEO? Or
as
vice
a C-
president.
Or as our vice president, yeah. Well, let's see. I work for I work for the Norton Company in sales of sandpaper and grinding wheels, selling basically industrial tools in a manufacturing environment, which I liked very much because I had this very special, fancy, aristocratic education, more or less. And it was great to work with ordinary manufacturing people in factories, just to deal for diversifying the personality and dealing with ordinary people. I work for American Airlines in
Continental.
well, I'm telling you all the companies I work for. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Sure, yeah. I work for American Airlines at a junior level in finance and helping them decide what things that they could do to make the company more profitable. Then I worked for General Motors and was in charge of their international financing. Did lots of work all over the world. And then was vice president and treasurer of Continental Airlines at about age 33. And then had my
Right after Harvard?
No, this was several years after Harvard. Yeah. And then I had an international trading company for a little while and an investment company for a little while. And then I was in charge of, I was the number 2 man for Norwegian Cruise Lines for some years. And then I did some small but very successful leveraged buyouts where with an investor group I bought companies and made them more valuable and then sold them. I had a lot of fun.
You told me you retired at the age of 47, and since then until today, you've been traveling around the world, and also with the money you earned, you practicing giving them away to help the people of low-income family. So, what's good about it? Can you share?
Well, I work very hard, and I think it's if you have good luck and are able to retire young, it can make lots of sense. And I think just as Dr. Shin enjoys working with you students, I think we all have to find ways of contributing to society too if we have a chance of giving back to society and helping people who can use our help. Whether it's helping students become enthusiastic and more successful about their opportunities, or helping people who are down on their luck and need to find a job, or need to help finding an apartment. So it's helping other people is the satisfying part of life that we all need to try to do, and it's an important part of life.
Thank you so much, Bruce.
Thank you. Can I go now?
Yeah. And the children will be very happy to stay in your apartment in New York City.
Good.
Next spring.
Well,
Thank you so much.
Well, don't wreck it.